In this tutorial, we are gonna learn how to draw mountains and hills step by step with all the little details, and we'll draw them in different shapes and dimensions. Let's begin. First, we draw a basic outline of the mountain using a few shapes, like an upside down V but with a rounded top. Now, we extend these shapes to create an imaginary triangle. Make sure the lines aren't too harsh. You have to create shapes like a pyramid, and by rotating these pyramids, you can also draw shapes like this. For example, I'm applying shapes of each of these pyramids to different parts of the mountain. To do this, we need to draw a diagonal line from the middle of the mountain. And we also add zigzag lines like what you see here. It's the same for the edges of the mountain. I don't draw the peaks of the mountain too pointy. I also apply that imaginary pyramid shape to the middle part of the mountain. To complete the mountain's structure, we add small peaks from different parts of the line we drew. Now, to blend the line and the peak, we need to give our line a slight curve to the left, like I'm showing you. We add other peaks. Try to draw the peaks jagged so that a better structure is drawn. I'll add a peak at the top too. See how I connect the line and the peak with a curve? Now, I'll erase the extra lines that are left over from extending the peaks, and I'll end up with a shape like this. See, to create that curve, we need to move slightly to the right along the small peak we drew, and then gently curve back towards the original line. I'll add a few more peaks and then erase the extra lines. But I'll mark the slope of the peaks with a light line. It's better to add another set of peaks so this part doesn't look empty. See, the extensions of these peaks forms a valley. I'll mark it with light dashed lines. I'll add a peak for the right edge of the mountain too. See how I mark the slope of each part of the mountain with lines? Do this to better visualize the volume of the different parts of the mountain, like the lines I draw in the pyramid. We'll get to the front of the mountain. I draw a few hills next to each other, and between those hills, a few other hills that are a little higher up. Let me first explain the structure and how to draw the hill on this side. Considering the top of the hill as the center, I draw a few lines like this. See, I draw these imaginary curves so you can better visualize the volume, protrusions, and indentations. These refer to the ridges that the hill has. Now, with another example, I want to show you how to draw the small protrusions that exist on this hill. Try to make the distance between the lines alternate between short and long. See, I'm taking the left edge out of the straight line shape, and I am drawing with the pencil over and under the line to create a protrusion. Here I'm showing their volume, as if they are part of a sphere. I'll do this for the rest of the parts too, and I'll try to make the protrusions not all in the same direction or the same size, and draw them randomly. When drawing the protrusions, I also consider the overall volume and structural curve of the hill itself. Then, for example, I choose our light source from the right side, and I put the opposite side of the light in shadow for the protrusions and ridges of the hill, and I darken it. The shading of each ridge and protrusion should vary as it moves to the right. I shade the left side of the hill less, the middle part to the middle, and the right side more. Apply the shadow with a hand movement along the slope of each part, so the volume is shown better. And draw the shadows of the ridges darker. Also follow the volume of the hill along with its protrusions with light lines to create the overall texture. Make a piece of a tissue into a point, or use a blender to smooth the shadows. Now, with a softer pencil and controlled random movements without creating a regular and orderly pattern of lines, shade the extensions of the ridges darker, and do the same for the shadows of the protrusions. Blend the shadows again. You can lighten the parts facing the light with medium pressure and by moving your hand along the volume of the hill. Try to make the border between shadow and light zigzag like I'm drawing. Don't raise so much that all the darkness disappears. Now we only darken the shadows of the deeper and more inner parts. And I add light lines to the places that we erased. You can apply such a pattern to create texture. And finally, we blend the lines a little with light pressure. Now we move on the shading of the mountain. Notice the shadows I am drawing on the pyramids. We apply the same shadows to the mountains as well. The higher and steeper parts of the mountain have larger shadows, and as the slope decreases, the shadows become lighter. See how I draw the shadows inside the valley considering the slope. I also add dark parts to the valley wall. I apply the initial shadows to the hills using the method I mentioned. Let's make the shadows of the steeper and higher parts of the mountain and valleys darker. Now, we blend the shaded areas with a blender or a piece of tissue that I wrap around the end of the pencil like this. I choose this method so that everyone can do this drawing with the simplest tools. Put a tissue under your hands so you don't spread the graphite. Then make the edges and lines that are faded clear and bold. We add texture to the mountain with short, curved, or straight lines that follow the slope. See how I do this? I try to apply the texture I told you about in a way that adds to the darkness of the parts in the shadows, but I don't make the light areas too dark. As we apply more texture, the lines get shorter. With very little pressure, we blend some of the lines. And then I define the hill's protrusions by shading. I lighten the parts of the mountain that are raised and facing the light. On the small hills, we need to extend parts of the shadow towards the light area like this. We can blend the hills once more with medium pressure so their smooth texture stands out against the rocky texture of the mountain. See you soon.